The time by Carrie Chris is 6 p.m. Time for CBX Business News. The business news headlines is brought to you by CBX Wealth Management, making more possible. New credit card perks, regional economic growth, and a game-changing global trade deal. Hello and welcome to CBX Business News for the final Friday in July, July 25, 2025. I'm Yanil Wood. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast locally, First Global Bank launches Visa Platinum Plus credit card, offering cashback rewards for customers. On the regional front, Barbados' economy expanded by 2.5% in the first half of 2025, driven by construction and business services. And over on the global stage, the United Kingdom and India sign a landmark free trade deal expected to generate $34 billion in annual trade gains. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after this break.
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the QMAX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why QMAX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
So much book you need for high school?
I'll show you how to make sure you have all the money for my books and even some extra. It's called budgeting, Dad. Making a budget is the most important thing you can do to track your money. It keeps a record of how much you make, how much you spend, where you spend it, and most importantly, how much you can save. Write down all your income, write down all your expenses, see where you can cut down and allot more money to more important things, like saving.
The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments. Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with the latest update coming from the financial services sector. First Global Bank FGB has officially launched its Visa Platinum Plus Jamaican Dollar credit card, offering customers a curated suite of premium luxury benefits. Designed to provide more than just financial convenience, the card delivers a comprehensive range of exclusive perks tailored to meet the evolving needs of cardholders. At the launch held at Devon House on Thursday, CBX News caught up with First Global's Chief Operating Officer, Terry Engraver, who highlighted the bank's commitment to innovative financial solutions that add value beyond transactions.
At FGB, we're known for quality, for excellence, for innovation, and as such, this is something that we're really excited to put forward to the public, and we're hoping that we can get our customers on board, to see what the benefits are.
Meanwhile, Senior Manager for Sales, Loyalty and Product Development at FGB, Sashali Miller, detailed the unique features that set the card apart from others in the market.
It's a card that gives you everything in one. Cash back. You get 2% back on your groceries, your travel, your utilities, restaurants, and then you get 1% back on everything else. Not only that, we give you access to luxury hotel collection. We give you access to VIP lounges all across the world. When you travel, you experience the value of the card. And why do you have to choose? There's no choice when it comes down to this card. And so we recommend that you get it because it allows you to balance work and life in totality. Whether you want to be that individual that balances a budget with your groceries monthly, or you want to pay your utilities, or you perhaps want to take that special trip with your family, your friends, or you just want to have a personal downtime, this card is for you.
She says another key benefit of the card is that customers will not be required to pay an annual fee for the first year.
This year, first year, we're waiving the annual fee, the perfect opportunity to get this card with more value, and you're not paying an annual fee. What better card exists? In addition to that, you have a lot more benefits: purchase protection, price protection. Why choose? Why not this card? First Global Bank Platinum Plus card.
Senior Manager for Sales, Loyalty and Product Development at FGB, Sasha Lee Miller. And when asked how interested clients can access the credit card, COO Terry Graver explained the application process.
So to access this card, please feel free to visit any one of our 8 branches across the island, or you can dial 1-888, call FGB, and our call center agents are ready and willing to give you any assistance that you need to access this card.
COO at First Global, Terry Graver. Jamaica is poised to become a top-tier global tourism hub with the launch of the US $1 billion Harmony Cove development, a game-changing project set to create thousands of jobs and ignite growth across multiple sectors. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett announced the milestone at the ribbon-cutting ceremony in Duncan's Trelawney on Tuesday. Spanning 2,300 acres along Trelawney's stunning coastline, Harmony Cove will feature 1,000 luxury hotel rooms, a full-service casino, and world-class amenities, including a championship golf course designed by sports icon Tiger Woods, an entertainment venue developed by Justin Timberlake, and a wide range of beach and marine activities. Minister Bartlett said the project will drive strong linkages across manufacturing, agriculture, craftsmanship, and transportation sectors, generating significant employment opportunities for Jamaicans. He highlighted the Jamaica First initiative, which promotes local ownership of the tourism supply chain, aiming to boost small businesses and foster sustainable livelihoods. Harmony Cove is a partnership between Nexus Luxury Collection and the Government of Jamaica. Harmonization Limited, a government-owned company, has entered a framework agreement with Tavistock Group Incorporated for the development. And in other news, Morgan Stanley's Global Investment Committee says that while the U.S. economy has proven more resilient than previously forecast, investors should not be quick to dismiss ongoing trade-related risks. In her latest podcast titled Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, Chief Investment Officer and Head of the Global Investment Office at Morgan Stanley, Lisa Shallett, cautions that equity markets may be overlooking key vulnerabilities.
We do recognize that the economy has been more resilient than previously forecast. GDP growth for the second quarter is estimated at 2.4%, and recent inflation data came in as expected, while corporate earnings are likely to beat lowered estimates. Still, we think it's premature to completely shrug off these trade-related risks. For one thing, only 3 country-based deals have actually been settled, with Vietnam, Indonesia, and the UK, and the most significant changes to policy still coming. Uncertainty remains when it comes to our largest trading partners like China, Canada, Mexico, and the EU, while impacts on commodities, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals still lie ahead.
Another factor to watch, Shallett adds, is the pre-emergence of inflationary pressures.
Next, we see inflationary pressures gaining. We understand that tariff impacts have been obscured by shifting implementation schedules, anticipatory inventory building, and trans-shipping strategies. That said, when we consider the actual data, our read is more cautious than the equity investor consensus. Consider that June CPI data was largely viewed as in line with expectations, but a closer look actually shows rising price pressures. Excluding autos, core goods prices jumped 0.5% in June, its fastest move in 3 years. Analysts at Pantheon Macro reported that price hikes on China-linked imports like appliances, toys, electronics rose about 2% in the month.
CIO and head of the Global Investment Office at Morgan Stanley, Lisa Chalette. Now to foreign currency trading news. At the end of Friday's currency trading, the US dollar is selling for $161.29, the Canadian for $117.90, and the pound sterling for $219.30. The going rate for the euro is $188.53. Up next, trading news from the Jamaica Stock Exchange. 107 stocks traded on the JSE Friday, of which 43 advanced, 41 declined, and 23 traded firm. Jamaica Public Service Company, Caribbean Assurance Brokers, ISP Finance Services, and Medical Disposables and Supplies led the winners, while the losers were led by Access Financial Services, Sagicor Real Estate X Fund, Honeybun 1982, and Kingston Wharves. The main index declined by 2,644.53 points, or 0.87%, to close at 302,985.08. The junior market index also suffered a decline, but by 10.94 or 0.32%, to close at 3,408.87. Now to some company news. Scotia Jamaica Group has announced the appointment of Yannick Forbes-Patrick as Head of Caribbean Corporate Affairs, effective July 1 this year. In her new role, Forbes-Patrick will oversee corporate affairs across Scotiabank's regional markets, including the Bahamas, Barbados, Cayman, the Dominican Republic, Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Turks and Caicos. She will focus on reinforcing the bank's value and culture, promoting the brand across business lines, and leading the development of innovative communications and public affairs strategies aligned with Scotiabank's regional growth agenda. And it's time for Market Education Feature, brought to you by CariCris, Regional Ratings, Global Standard. In today's Market Education Feature, we're exploring the International Trademark Classification System, a crucial framework for global brand protection and intellectual property rights. The International Trademark Classification System, commonly known as the NICE classification, categorizes goods and services to simplify the process of trademark registration worldwide. The system was established by an agreement adopted at the NICE Diplomatic Conference on June 15, 1957, and has since undergone revisions in Stockholm 1967, Geneva 1977, and an amendment in 1979. Countries that are parties to the NICE agreement form a special union under the Paris Convention for the Protection of Industrial Property. These member states use the NICE classification as a standardized guide for registering and managing trademarks. The Market Education Feature was brought to you by CariCris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. And that's it for Market Education Feature and the end of the local segment. Please stay with us. The regional business news is up next. The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
Let's all get fit. This summer set drip. Hip dips and split. Power in the mind, let's get healthy with it. Sometimes your body's so hard, but your body wants it. And then your head is so hard, and it's so like this. So we gotta go 1, 2, 3. One more now. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. One more now. 1, 2, 3. One more now. 1, 2, 3, go.
Welcome back. Now for news from across the region. Barbados' economy expanded by 2.5% in the first half of 2025, driven by a surge in construction activity and a continued growth in business and professional services. That's according to the latest economic report from the Central Bank of Barbados, delivered by Governor Dr. Kevin Greenidge earlier today. Speaking at the bank's review of the country's economic performance for the first 6 months, Dr. Greenidge says the growth reflects broad-based momentum across key sectors, even as the island navigates global uncertainty and tightening international financing conditions.
The economy sustained its growth trajectory for the first half of the year, with real GDP expanding by 2.5% in the first half, and this was driven by strong activity in construction, in business and other services, in wholesale and retail, and in inflation. We also saw inflation rate slowing, while the growth momentum pushed the unemployment rate down to a record of 6.3, a record low for the first quarter.
Dr. Greenidge says the country's economic fundamentals continue to strengthen, pointing to record international reserves, easing inflation, and a decline in unemployment.
On the fiscal side, government operations resulted in a primary surplus of 3.5% of GDP as higher income and transaction-based tax inflows outpaced spending. Our current account positions continue to strengthen, with the stock of international reserve rising to a record high of $3.9 billion at the end of June this year, though the current account deficit would have widened, reflecting higher imports and falling exports over the period.
Governor for the Central Bank of Barbados, Dr. Kevin Greenidge. Guyana is forging a strategic partnership with Barbados to establish an integrated trade and transport platform designed to revolutionize regional commerce and enhance economic competitiveness. Speaking during the Shipping Association of Guyana's Networking and Business Mixer recently, President Dr. Irfan Ali says the initiative aims to eliminate redundant customs clearance by allowing shipments to be processed just once, either in Guyana or Barbados.
We want to lead with Barbados to set up an example for the rest of the region, in which we have pre-clearance between Barbados and Guyana, in which we have a common transport platform integrating the market of Barbados and Guyana, so that when you clear at one end, you're picking up at the other end seamless. So we are hoping to work with all countries who are ready to move forward with us.
Supporting this effort is the modernization of Guyana's regulatory framework and port security system. President Ali revealed ongoing collaboration with the United States to strengthen port security.
Of course, to support all of this is the modernization of our regulatory framework. Our port security is important. We're working with the U.S. on building out our port security system so it can be strong, it can be trusted. That's important. The international market needs to trust our ports, and we have to invest in the security system, supported by modern regulations and legislation. And then, of course, this would enhance and build our competitiveness.
President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali. Regional airline Liat 2020 Limited has unveiled a new brand identity announcing it will now operate under the commercial name Liat Air as part of a comprehensive strategy to modernize its operations and reinforce its position in Caribbean air travel. The rebranding introduces a vibrant new logo and visual identity inspired by the Caribbean's diversity and unity. While the company's legal name remains Liat 2020 Limited, the commercial name Liat Air will be used across all public and marketing platforms going forward. This marks a major milestone in our transformation journey and reaffirms renewed commitment to regional connectivity and operational excellence, the airline stated in an official release. According to the company's chief executive officer, the name Liat carries deep historical and emotional significance across the Caribbean. However, as we grow and expand into new territories, we recognize the importance of making our purpose unmistakably clear. The name Liat Air does exactly that. It honors and reinforces the legacy while positioning us confidently in the global aviation space, she says. The airline plans a phased rollout of the new branding, which is expected to be fully implemented by September this year. During the transition period, passengers may still encounter the previous Liat 20 logo on aircraft and other materials. Now to trading news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. 21 securities traded on the TTSE Friday, of which 5 advanced, 9 declined, and 7 traded firm. Leading the winners were Trinidad Cement, Grace Kennedy, National Flour Mills, and First Citizens Group Financial Holdings, while leading the losers were L.J. Williams, Unilever Caribbean, National Enterprises, and Massey Holdings. Other results include the All-TNT Index declining by 5.23 to close at 1,455.14. The Composite Index declining by 1.77 to close at 1,006.22. However, the cross-listed index advanced by 0.27 to close at 73.63, and still at 96.08 is the SME index. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment with Nielsen Rose is up next.
Hi, I'm Nielsen Rose, host of Let's Talk Stocks, reminding you that health is indeed wealth and time is really money. Why not spend a little time with us? Weekday mornings, 9 to 9:30 a.m. for your daily dose of business, economic, and investment insights.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. In the international news today, the United Kingdom and India have signed a landmark free trade agreement, FTA, expected to boost bilateral trade by more than $34 billion annually, marking one of the most significant trade pacts for both nations in recent years. The deal, finalized during Indian Prime Minister's Narendra Modi's visit to the UK, was signed at Chequers, the country's estate of British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The agreement follows 3 years of negotiations and is being hailed as a historic milestone in India-UK relations. Under the terms of the FTA, 99% of Indian goods exported to the UK will be exempt from tariffs, while 92% of UK exports to India will see tariffs reduced or eliminated, with average tariffs dropping from 15 to 3%. Key sectors benefiting include textiles, whiskey, automobiles, jewelry, and electronics. The deal also includes provisions for temporary workers, social security exemptions, and enhanced cooperation in areas like AI, aerospace, and climate change. The UK government estimates the deal could eventually add £4.8 billion, that's $6.8 billion annually, to the UK economy. However, the agreement still requires ratification by both countries' parliaments before it can take full effect. Bank lending to households in the Eurozone rose by 2.2% year-on-year to €7.016 billion in June, marking the fastest growth since May 2023 and surpassing market projections of 1.9%. This uptick reflects a sustained recovery in credit demand, bolstered by the European Central Bank's recent policy easing. Meanwhile, lending to businesses also picked up, increasing to 2.7% from 2.5% in May. As a result, overall credit growth to the private sector, which includes both households and non-financial corporations, climbed to 3%, up from 2.8% the previous month. Durable goods orders in the United States dropped 9.3% month-over-month to $311.84 billion in June, reversing a sharply upward revision of 16.5% surge in May. The decline was less severe than markets had projected of a 10% drop. The steepest contraction was seen in transportation equipment orders, which fell 22.4%, driven by a 51.8% plunge in non-defense aircraft and parts. Capital goods orders also declined 22.2%, with non-defense capital goods down 24%. However, excluding transportation, new orders rose 0.2%, and excluding defense, orders edged up 0.1%. Gains were recorded in fabricated material products, 0.2% up, machinery, 0.4%, primary metals, 0.6%, computers and electronics, up 0.6%. A key indicator of small business investments, non-defense capital goods, excluding aircraft, fell 0.7%, following a revised 2% increase in May and missing market expectations of a 0.2% rise. TikTok's operations in the United States face renewed uncertainty as U.S.-China trade talks intensify. The U.S. administration had given TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, until September 17 to divest its U.S. operations or face a nationwide ban. While not officially a part of the negotiations, TikTok has become a key bargaining chip in the broader discussions. U.S. officials are demanding American control over TikTok's algorithm and user data, citing national security concerns. In response, ByteDance is reportedly developing a standalone U.S. version of the app to meet regulatory demand. Commerce Secretary Jared Lutnick warned that if China fails to approve the deal, TikTok could be shut down again, as it briefly was shut down earlier this year. And those were your international business stories. After the break, join Neil for your recap.
to open a savings account for my son John. I really want him to start saving and managing his own money.
And I need for Save to visit my father in New York.
Okay, based on what you said and our risk assessment, he will qualify for simplified customer due diligence requirements. I'll need your ID, proof of income, TRN, and John's ID as well.
Okay, here you go.
Opening an account is easier than you think using simplified customer due diligence requirements, also called CDD.
Welcome back, and now to recap our top stories. In the local news, First Global Bank launches Visa Platinum plus Jamaican credit card. Regionally, Barbados' economy grew 2.5% in the first half of 2025. And on the international scene, UK and India signed landmark free trade deal worth $34 billion in annual trade gains. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of Nielsen Rose and the entire production team, I'm Yanil Wood, thanking you for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.